A black man was unfairly denied bail. Why aren't progressives shouting systematic racism this time? We all know why. It's because he's a black conservative, and because he's for Trump, he actually was one. The guy that they when denied bail to was the head of Black Voices for Trump. So of course the progressives aren't going to stand up for this guy being the one defendant that's denied bail, and the only difference between him and everyone else, the other 18 individuals happen to be white and he's black. So you put two and two together. But again, of course, progressives aren't going to say anything about it. Leftists aren't going to say anything about it because he happens to be a Trump supporter. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Imagine the following scenario. A black man is facing charges for a nonviolent offense. Upon voluntarily presenting himself at the courthouse, a white judge promptly denies his request for bail due to allegations of assaulting an FBI agent. This decision stands despite the fact that his white co-defendants, some facing more severe charges, were granted bail. This situation might typically attract attention from left-leaning commentators, right? It's the kind of event that figures like Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton, who present themselves as staunch advocates against systematic racism and injustice, would usually address. However, this is not the case for Harrison Floyd, the sole black individual indicted in Fulton County alongside former President Donald Trump and 17 white co-defendants. The judge is withholding Floyd's freedom for a seemingly baseless reason, as articulated by Jim Thompson of Red State. He said, one could assume that based on a worst case scenario, all remaining 18 defendants should have equal opportunity for bail using the same criteria. Floyd faces 3 counts. Count 1, count 30, and count 31. Logically, these 3 counts should result in a $100,000 fine, $100,000 bail. Yet this does not apply to Floyd. He is entirely denied bail. During his preliminary hearing, Judge Richardson, after reading Floyd's his rights, inquired about any prior criminal history relevant to the bail issue. A representative from Fulton County's pretrial services mentioned a prior incident on May 2023 involving a charge of simple assault on an FBI agent. Floyd accurately responded that it was an allegation and that he lacked a criminal history. He doesn't have one. So mind you, he doesn't actually have a criminal history, but they brought this so-called assaulting a FBI agent. But again, he has no criminal history. So where's that coming from? And Richardson acknowledged that she understood it was merely an allegation, just an allegation, no charges or anything, but proceeded to deny bail regardless. Even though Floyd was in custody and unrepresented, Richardson made no further effort to assess his likelihood of attending future hearings or the possibility of reoffending. She didn't inquire about Floyd's family, employment, or responsibilities such as his daughter at home. Richardson didn't pose any questions pertinent to evaluating flight risk. In essence, she neglected her responsibilities. To clarify further, a white judge is refusing bail for a black man due to an accusation of a violent crime. As far as we know, Floyd has no previous criminal record. Nevertheless, the judge deemed him a flight risk for reasons not fully clear. Doesn't this case exhibit the characteristics of a deeply ingrained racism that leftists should typically rally against? What truly motivates the differential treatment of Floyd? Shouldn't he, like any other American, be afforded the presumption of innocence? The silence from the usual advocates in this situation is conspicuous, but not unexpected. Those who vociferously oppose the concept a systematic racism often appear to care about it the least. A person's actions speak to their genuine beliefs, especially when their proclaimed principles don't favor them. The reason Sharpton and Crump aren't speaking out is simply because Harrison Floyd doesn't align with their political affiliations. That's the sole reason, and everyone sees that. If these individuals genuinely believed in their own rhetoric, they would condemn this unfair judicial decision regardless of political considerations. This underscores the observation that so-called progressives don't view racism as a challenge to be resolved, but as a tool to be exploited. For them, racial issues serve as a convenient weapon against political adversaries, nothing more, nothing less. The fact that they're willing to overlook Floyd's situation further illustrates their preference for politics over the professed values they claim to uphold. But as previously noted, this lack of consistency shouldn't come as a surprise. I mean, we knew that they weren't going to advocate on this man's behalf simply because he's a black conservative for Trump. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.